Hello, you're watching Sightline on MNB World. Today we're at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia and we'll be talking to a very special guest. This is Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Mr. Péter Szijjártó. Thank you very much for talking to us. It's an honor to have you on our program.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Of course, so you arrived to Mongolia to hand over the generous humanitarian aid from Hungary to Mongolia. So these are 33 ventilators donated by Hungary to Mongolia, which have been just delivered to the to the government of Mongolia. And the decision to donate the ventilators was announced on July 16th. And since then, Mongolian people have been sharing their deep gratitude to the government of Hungary for assisting us in the difficult time of COVID-19 pandemic. So as the Foreign Minister of Hungary, what would you say about this donation?
Look, unfortunately, we had to face this challenge for the last 1.5 years. We are struggling with the healthcare and the economic aspects and consequences of this crisis. So we feel solidarity with brotherly nations like the Mongolians. And as a consequence from the first and the second wave of the pandemic, we have drawn that we need to have strategic capacities, abilities to construct those equipments which are necessary for the healthcare system to be able to tackle the challenge. And we remember how complicated it was to buy ventilators last year. So now we have the capacity to construct these ventilators back at home as well. And this puts us in a position that we can help others who are in need. And after receiving the request from the Mongolian government, it was obvious that we helped. And our government has decided to donate 33 ventilators, which will be provided to 3 central clinics here in Ulaanbaatar, to 9 district hospitals in the capital, and hospitals of the 21 centers of your regions. And we do hope that these ventilators will be implemented and operational soon, and they will serve the success of the Mongolian government to tackle the healthcare aspect of the pandemic.
Thank you very much. So the 33 ventilators are worth of $1.6 million, and it will be a great help to Mongolians. So on the same topic about the COVID-19 pandemic, let me ask you about this decision on the unimpeded travel between our countries. So in May this year, there was an announcement made by the Hungarian government, and it said that Hungary had concluded agreements on the travel agreements. So it will allow Hungarians with immunity certificates to travel into Mongolia without having to isolate or having to show COVID-19 test results. So is the decision still in force today, or will there be any amendments be made soon?
Look, we do believe that vaccination is the solution. So vaccination brings protection, and we should incentivize those people who are ready to take the vaccine. And we have carried out the quickest and most successful vaccination campaign in Europe. Currently, 68% of adult population has already been vaccinated.
Yes.
And we understand that you have been carrying out a very successful vaccination campaign as well. Around 60% of adults have already received the vaccine. So that's why we proposed back in May to our Mongolian friends to recognize mutually the vaccination certificates of each other and allow our citizens to travel between the two countries in case they have been vaccinated. Why should we still hinder? Why should we still prevent those citizens from traveling who have been vaccinated? Being vaccinated means being secure. So that's why we decided to come to this agreement with Mongolia. It is, of course, still operational. That helps economic and trade relationship to be maintained, and it helps the students to come to Hungary to be enrolled
students
in
on
our
scholarship to
universities.
Hungary.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So the decision is still operational.
Absolutely.
Okay, the government of Hungary has accepted Mongolian students to study in Hungary on a scholarship. So in the first year, 100 students were accepted, but the following year the number was doubled. So since then, 200 students have been selected to study in Hungary annually. So so 200 is a big number. So will the number of 200 still be the same in the future, or will they any changes will be made? And also, what kind of sectors are Mongolian students mainly studying in, or actually encouraged to study in?
We think that people-to-people contacts are very important.
Of course.
Especially in case of countries like ours, which are friendly countries, but geographically speaking, we are far away of each other.
Yeah.
And in order to be able to build a successful economic relationship, successful trade ties, we need to have strong people-to-people contacts. And these people-to-people contacts are being based on education, culture and sports. And when it comes to education, we consider it very important that students from the other country come to study in Hungary on the Hungarian universities. Currently we have 586 Mongolian students who have already been enrolled on the Hungarian universities during the last 6 years, and we will be happy to increase this number. If the number of applicants remains as high as it is now, or would even increase, then we would be happy, of course,
to
further increase the number of scholarships we provide Mongolian students with. Here what has to be underlined is that we are extremely happy and satisfied about the fact that there's a growing share, from year to year growing share of your students in Hungary who ask for the prolongation of the scholarship, which means that they are satisfied with the level of standards, with the circumstances, and we usually prolong their scholarships. So 200 can definitely be increased in case the demand remains as high as it is now.
So during the COVID-19 pandemic, how is the process of scholarship proceeding?
From September onwards, universities will be hopefully operational for personal presence as well.
In-person classes.
And so which means that we expect the students from Mongolia to arrive. I know I have learned from our ambassador that the visas have already been under issuing, which means that there will be no obstacle for the students to come to study to Hungary. And they usually, study medical science, technical science, arts, or law, and we have and agriculture. And we are happy to expand also the territories on which the Mongolian students have been enrolled on the universities.
Thank you. It's some great news. So many believe that our two countries share a special historic bond. So we established the bilateral diplomatic relations in April 1950, and we celebrated our 70th anniversary last year. So during this time, what would you say has been the main focus or highlight of our relations between our countries?
Look, definitely we share some heritage in history. We Hungarians are usually considered as the most Eastern Westerners, based on the fact that we were coming from the east to the Carpathian Basin, where we have been living now for more than 1,000 years. So this common heritage regarding the past, regarding the history, forms a very good platform, a good foundation for the practical cooperation to be built. And thanks God, we were able to build a very, let's say, beneficial practical cooperation on the field of trade and the economic cooperation. We are very happy with the fact that Hungarian companies have had the chance to build the biocombinate in Songino.
The renovation.
Yeah, right, where we provide Mongolia with a tie-date credit line of 57 million
interest-free
dollars. Absolutely. We are happy to continue this program. We're happy to provide you with another tie-date credit offer, based on which Hungarian companies could complete some projects on the field of agriculture, irrigation, water management. So it depends on the Mongolian government whether these kind of projects will be offered to us, and then we will be happy to put the financial background behind them.
Of course. So you said that there have been a number of scientific, cultural and development projects that have been carried out between our two countries, and you named the biocombinate renovation, which is going to produce a domestic production of foot and mouth disease and rabies vaccines in Mongolia with the help of the interest-free loan from Hungary. Yeah. So, and also currently we have been conducting the archaeological research on the Hunnu Empire aristocrats' tombs in Ulaanbaatar. So it was resumed by the Hungarian and Mongolian archaeologists. So what else has been going on between our two countries' relations? What would you say?
Well, we have a strong cooperation on the field of pharmaceutical industry. The biggest Hungarian pharmaceutical company, which is called Richter, has been present on your market for long years now with commercial representation, and they have already registered 70 different types of medicines and pharmaceutical products which they are selling here. I know that another pharmaceutical company has been in negotiations with some of the companies here about selling the medicine called favipiravir, which is very important from the perspective of avoiding heavy symptoms in case one has already been infected by COVID. There's an increasing cooperation in the field of animal husbandry, since you are really great in this area. Traditionally speaking, we are also an agricultural based economy. We put a lot of emphasis on animal husbandry to grow again. So here the experiences and the results of your policies would be very interesting to come to know in the upcoming period of time. So on the other hand, we have when it comes to education, we have a lectorate or a faculty on the biggest Hungarian university for Mongolistic studies and Mongolese language, and there's a Mongolian lector also working there, and we do hope that the cultural and historic aspects of this relationship will also flourish.
Of course. So now I'm going to ask you about the question on the sports, as the Tokyo 2020 Olympics is going on currently, and Hungary is known for the top number of Olympic medals. I've heard that it's among the top 10 countries in the world. So there has been a cooperation on the football sports between Hungary and Mongolia. And what else is being planned in the sports sector of our relations?
You know, we Hungarians are really a sporting nation.
Yes, that's right.
So regardless of our smaller size, we are usually among the best performing nations on the Olympics. Even on these Olympics, which have been taking place now in Tokyo, we have won 2 gold medals and
one in fencing.
And swimming. And altogether 5 medals so far, which is not bad. We are among the top 15 still, which compared to our size is something really, let's say, a great achievement. Yeah. When it comes to sports, we would be happy if we could expand the cooperation to other sport arts than football as well. By the way, the first Mongolian football player who has been signed by a European team, is playing in Hungary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the team of
the
the best football academy of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be great if we could expand this relationship to other sport arts in a form of ensuring opportunities to each other, to make training camps in the countries of each other. And we would be happy if we could run programs in the framework of which we could train and upgrade the skills of the coaches, the trainers together. It's extremely important. And when it comes to youth sports, you know, cooperation between youth sports organizations lay down a very good foundation for cooperation between countries, because the sooner the kids start to come to know each other, the better and the more they will serve the interest of a good cooperation between the two nations.
So thank you, Mr. Szijjártó, and our time is coming to an end, unfortunately. So what final message would you like to give to our audience?
Look, the Hungarian people consider the Mongolian people as a friendly and a brotherly nation. And we are really interested in further deepening and enhancing our cooperation. We will do our best in order to comply with this goal of ours. I'd like to congratulate for the successful vaccination strategy, and we do hope that that we can come back to normal life soon, and we don't need masks, and we don't have to count with travel restrictions, and we can attend events freely. This depends on vaccination, and that's why I think your government made a really good decision by not considering vaccines as of ideology or geopolitics, but as an issue of protecting lives.
Yes.
I think this was a very smart decision on behalf of your government. Our government has made a similar kind of decision. And the two successful vaccination campaigns in the two countries of ours allow us to work together very closely again in the future.
So thank you very much, Mr. Péter Szijjártó, for talking about the relations between our two countries and also the generous donation of 33 ventilators from Hungary to Mongolia.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much for the possibility to talk to you.
Thank you. You've watched Sightline. Today we talked to Mr. Péter Szijjártó, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.